Bit of a quick story time today. I remember when the original Revv G3 pedal came out back in 2018. I was still working for Hughes & Kettner amps at the time, and we were very active in the scene, working with YouTubers, working with artists. We did the NAMM show every year, we did the GitCon show, we did the Thomann Gearhead University, and so on and so on. And we were one of the mainstay amp brands there. But one Canadian small company was appearing and shaking things up, especially in the realm of high gain, and that was Dan and Derek from Revv Amps. And of course Revv have gone on to become a household name in the world of guitar amplification and also in the world of guitar pedals as well. And what they had back in the day was their iconic generator amplifier, and in particular its purple channel was an absolute beast of tight, modern, high gain goodness. And what they then went on to do was a natural step of encapsulating their generator channels into pedal forms, and the most iconic of those is still the G3 pedal, which replicates the purple channel from the generator amps. And I went out and bought this pedal on my own back in 2018 because I wasn't doing my own YouTube at that point. I was still with H&K, appearing on their channel a lot. And there is actually a great video of me and the wonderful Joss Allen going through the old Revv pedals, the G2, the G3 and the G4 on the Hughes & Kettner channel from way back in the day. I'll link to that if it still exists, so you can check that one out and have a bit of a laugh if you'd like. But I've been playing this pedal for over 7 years now, and like I said, I bought this one with my own money. It's been in over 200 videos on my channel to date, and it goes with me wherever I go when I need high gain tones. It's great for recording, it's great on any pedal board, and it turns any clean amp into a snarling beast of modern drive goodness. And it's something with Hughes & Kettner amps that I always kind of needed. I love H&K amps, I still do, even though I haven't worked for them for quite a few years now, but I never managed to find a modern high gain sound with H&K amps that I really loved. Not even in the Triumph Mark III, if you can believe that. But the Revv G3 pedal solved that problem for me, and it turns the clean channel of my current Black Spirit 200 into an absolute monster, and I love it for that. And I never thought that I'd see the day where another pedal would eclipse the Revv G3 and replace it maybe even on my board. But that day has come. It's summer 2025, and of course it's Revv, and they've come out with the version 2 of the G3 pedal. So now we have the follow-up to the G3, and they say it's better. They say it's tighter, it responds better to pick attack, it has a more amp-like sound, and it has a greater clarity too. And so what I wanted to just do quickly in this video is put that to the test. What I'm going to do is run a quick loop through my Black Spirit 200 on a very neutral clean channel. We'll be using my Epiphone Les Paul to play the loop, so some nice fat humbuckers there, and we'll test out the G3 against the G2. We'll hear how they sound in terms of similarities, in terms of differences. We'll tweak the EQs and the different aggression modes, see if we can get the two versions to sound similar, see if the version 1 can keep up with the version 2, how they sound subtly different, how they sound significantly different. And by the end of this loop, I hope that I'll know which one I want to keep on my pedal board, and I hope you might know too if you're currently thinking about this kind of thing as well. So let's listen to that loop now, and we'll speak in a bit more detail afterwards. So that was the battle of the Revv G3 pedals, and as usual, I'd love to know what you folks think. Leave me a comment telling me which of the two you thought sounded better. Are you team V1? Do you like the classic tones from the original, or are you all about the new tones from the V2? Would love to hear your thoughts as ever, so leave me a comment and let's get a bit of a discussion going. But now my first thoughts about the V2. I did plug in and play a few big power chords and do a few riffs with this pedal before I shot the video, and straight away it was obvious that there are significant differences between the V2 of the G3 and the V1. Now the V2, by the way, is based on the newer version of the Revv generator amp, the version 3 of that amp, as opposed to the version 2 that the original G3 pedal was based on. So that's where the differences come from. And Revv do say that straight away you're going to notice a difference in the mids and increased clarity and improved pick attack and dynamics from this pedal. And straight away I did notice that there is an extra clarity to it. There seems to be more top end, although maybe that means there's slightly less low end on offer as well. But it's something that you notice straight away, especially if you're familiar with the V1. Now in terms of gain reserves, I think they have roughly similar amounts of gain on tap, and you can make them sound very similar in terms of the amount of dirt that you're putting out. But in terms of the character, the tonal character of the gain, to me it is slightly different. With the V2 I notice a lot of extra crispness and tonal clarity, and if I contrast that to the V1 doesn't sound sludgy or undefined by any means. It's still a really great tight pedal for riffing, but it has a sleazier, raunchier sort of sound, and it's a bit darker sounding too, so it's a very different tonal world in that context. Put them into a mix or play them live and nobody is really going to notice the difference, apart from maybe the other Revv fans who play guitar who are in the crowd. But if you're just listening in this sort of pedal guitar riffage context, well, you do notice some differences. Now in terms of other differences, we have an aesthetic overhaul here. We've got this nice Revv logo badge here as well on this one, and the LEDs in the new generation of the G pedals, well, they represent the colors of the amps. So now we have a purple LED in this one as opposed to a red LED in the old one. It's the little things, right? They all make a difference. And one other thing that I did notice when hooking up the two pedals together is that in the V2 you have a slightly lower noise floor than in the V1. The V1 wasn't a particularly noisy pedal considering how much gain is on tap, but the V2 is even quieter, and if that's something that's important to you, this is going to be well worth checking out. Now like every Revv product, this is going to be made in Canada to the highest quality thresholds, so it's not going to be cheap. In Europe this is going to be about 250 euros, in America maybe 220, $230, and about 200 plus Great British pounds as well. So not cheap by any means, but in my opinion the G3 pedals have always been 100% worth it, and the G3 V2 is 100% worth it as well. Should you upgrade from the V1 to the V2 if you've already got the V1? Well, I would say check them out. If you think that the tonal differences, the lower noise floor, the clarity and the looks of this pedal make the difference to you, then of course it's going to be worth it. But otherwise with the V1 you have a fantastic, groundbreaking high gain overdrive distortion pedal, and the version 1 is still the second best high gain overdrive distortion pedal in the world, and it's second only to the new one, the Revv G3 version 2. V2. Now I hope you've enjoyed this little overview, my kind of first forays into the G3 V2. If you'd like me to do one of my traditional, extremely overlong, in-depth review demo videos, let me know down there in the comments and I will let you hear all of the tones and more with this thing, with single coil pickups, with humbucking pickups, with whatever you guys like. So let me know your thoughts and your wishes down there. Now I'm very happy to announce that Revv also sent me the brand new G2 and G4 pedals alongside the new G3, so there's going to be videos of all of them coming on my channel in the future. So if you're not subbed yet, don't forget to do that so you don't miss out on those at some point in the next few weeks. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.